Well, Bethesda just pooped God's pants. Hello, my little bunnies. I'm Mr. Church, and I'm in the PTS, which stands for the Playtest or Public Test Server. Think of it as a beta version of the next coming update. This is not the live game, for those of you that were confused last time. Just, keep that in mind, please, for the love of God. Thank you. Today we're just gonna go and fuck around and find out, basically, and try out different new things in the PTS in the coming update. Like, for example, there's some new legendaries, aristocrats. They changed some old stuff. Things are looking weird in Fallout, and so let's try to test out what we can. I don't have everything. It's just my first, poke around in here, and I want to give you guys like my initial thoughts on it, which I know it's very valuable, more valuable than gold bullion, which is very valuable indeed, because Bethesda put it behind a daily gate so that you have to keep logging in every day, because the game isn't fun enough to do without that incentive. So let's look at we have all other, armor bits that are new. Oh yeah, by the way, there's power armor with legendary effects, because that's not brokenly overpowered at all. So actually, let's look at quickly, for like 45 minutes, a list of the new effects which they've added to the game with this update. So we have, it looks like 4 potential new 1-star, and if you want to pause the video and read through this and think about it, think of the implications, maybe cry a little bit or laugh. Overall, in general, I think there's some really good ideas that they're starting to do. I love that they also rebalanced some of the older stuff. But aristocrats is very interesting. Juggernauts, I think that should be a little bit more damage. And heavyweight, it says it's not in the PTS, but I have some heavyweight armor. I'm gonna at least try that out. But anyway, you guys can look at that further if you want to pause the game. Sit there salivating at the frozen screen. Make everyone in your life kind of more worried about you than they were before. But think about stuff like Chameleon on power armor and auto stim on power armor. By the way, it renders the need for certain power armor mods, irrelevant. Also, there's a bug now where if you're in third person and you zoom in while you're crouched, it stands you up. I am not standing myself up, I'm zooming in and it pops me back up, which is terrible. And I'll show you why it's terrible later with an unexpected cameo. But anyway, let's just keep doing that for a minute, since you probably didn't believe me the first 7 times. But keep in mind, this is the first PTS update. So as we give them feedback, Bethesda will probably, be changing some of these bugs and ignoring our biggest concerns and stuff like that. And if we hey, we could really want unyielding armor, that's fine. Let's put that on power armor. Why not? Because I've always felt that my power armor was not good enough. I always felt, if I could only be a little more tanky in my power armor, that would be great, because I'm so squishy, and wow. So let's just test out some other stuff. Let's throw a grenade, and here's something else I discovered. You can roll weightless power armor pieces, which I assumed wouldn't work because you can't make the helmet legendary, and I assumed that the helmet counts as a piece of armor. So to test it, I put on a piece of weightless armor, and I took off all the other pieces except for the helmet, and sure enough, I did not turn invisible when I pulled my gun out. I did look like a shorn sheep, which was unfortunate, but I did not turn invisible, which is even more unfortunate. And so I said, well, maybe if I turn, this is a problem, because now we have to walk around without helmets off. It's worse than that, actually, because when I took my helmet off, I still didn't turn invisible, because power armor frames count as armor. You cannot, I repeat, cannot Have Weightless dropping on these power armor pieces, please, Bethesda, and thank you, because that's stupid. It's useless, it doesn't work. It can't work. It's foundationally and fundamentally flawed, and no matter how ugly you make yourself look with your power armor pieces, you're still useless if you have those pieces on. It's like having no anything. So that's crap. But we won't worry about that. Let's look at heavyweights next. So as you'll remember from your slobber session when you looked at the paused screen earlier, the heavyweight grants you higher damage and energy resistance the higher your carry weight. So I have 3 of these pieces, and I thought, see, we're at 305 carry weight right now, and I'm going to put on some calibrated shocks, which is going to boost my carry weight, and we're going to see if our overall, how much, that affects our overall damage and energy resistance. So right now it's still quite high, because we just have the natural ability of weight carrying. We have 1 calibrated shock on, I think. So I'm going to put those both on. It's at 305. We're going to bump it up. Now it's at 3. Yeah, you can see these numbers here. Let's throw the calibrated shock on, and it pops it up to 455 and 550, which is, I think it caps out at 350 carry weight. The problem with this armor, in my mind, is I think it'll work on power armor because you can put calibrated shocks. But think of it in the context of normal armor. You're going to need your deep pockets on all your pieces. You're going to need probably a strength build, and the problem with that is a lot of times strength builds outside of power armor tend to want to use unyielding armor. And unyielding, you will get that high carry weight quite easily, but without it, it's going to be a little tricky. I mean, you can do it. It's possible. There's several ways you could do it. There's backpacks and all that shit, but it's going to be a little tricky, so I'm not really sure I'm not sure about this stuff, and it's only 20 damage and energy resistance here. It's not plus 35, which is the Vanguard and bolstering abilities. So it is lower than those, and it's kind of a weird way to get it. But I mean, I'm happy for new stuff, and I'm excited to try all this new stuff out. I'm wondering about it because that seems like a kind of a strange way to achieve higher damage and energy resistance. It's weird, but there's also I happened to get dissipating on 3 of my limbs. If you'll remember, that is the it slowly gets rid of your radiation over time. So I thought, because I have 3 of them, it's stacking, it's probably going to do something good. I'm going to go get some rads real quick and run around, and I'm going to see how that works, I guess, and see if it's as good as what rads. So right now I've taken, a bath in rads, and it was easy to do because they gave me this pre-made character which was complete trash. And so I got stuck fighting a Scorch Beast for 45 minutes because I couldn't do any damage because they gave me a bunch of picklock perks and they gave me a handmade and then basically no commando perks, but it's fine. It's a good build for if you suck. So let's go back outside of the radiation, if I can just find my way. Oh yeah, look at the crosshairs on the handmade, because they decided that I needed scaly skin and talons, and they also decided that I would probably not want stabilized mods on my handmade and would probably want a bayonet. So that's the weapon I start off with, because this is a pre-made character. If you're judging me, if you happen to see the fact that I'm just clumping around. But let's look at our HP, and I also, they didn't give me a healing factor either. I'm gonna just take a stim, and then we can kind of track how quickly the HP is going up, basically. Using a keyboard and mouse, I'll admit, is a little like my grandmother trying to use Facebook. It's adorable, but it's useless, So let's see. It's going up very slowly. Not even a rad a second. It's a couple seconds. It's like 2 seconds ish, maybe more. I gotta take another stim pack before it goes up anymore. Hold on a second. The thing is, we need, yeah, this will be easy to test with healing factor for sure, but you can see even now it's just not very quickly. And keep in mind, I have 3 pieces with dissipating, so you'd think that'd be a lot quicker. I'm wondering how long it is before somebody rolls dissipating on unyielding or bolstering piece. So they, I hope, have removed the ability for those two to roll together, because that would be, you know, obviously destroy both of those things. If you have a bolstering piece, which you need to be at low health, and then your secondary slot is to make sure you're never at low health by getting rid of your rads all the time, that would make me sad, I guess. So yeah, it's just, what the But overpowered power armor aside, the main problem with this update is I think that we all were hoping that crafting legendary weapons and armor meant you could choose your slots. You know, this is a decent roll, but it's on a goddamn broadsider. Like, I think I was thinking we could, you know, try a million times, we get the junkies, we lock it in somehow, and then we can roll over and over for the second and third. We lock in the ones we want, we keep rolling. More RNG is just making everything suck, and adding more effects is adding more to the pool to roll, making it worse. Another thing, by the way, it seems that VATS is working again in PvP. I'm not sure how to feel about that, because I mean, it's just a thing. I don't know if this is a bug, if they accidentally reverted back to before Wastelanders with it, or if it's something that they're going to continue to work on, like maybe in the next update they'll put it back. Because remember, this is a rough draft version of the, you know, the update. This is a PTS first version, and then so basically what we do is we all come inside the PTS, and then we start bitching and moaning about this and that, and then they start fixing stuff and changing things. So maybe this won't be there, but for now it's working, and that's kind of interesting because now you can actually like have chameleon on your power armor and a jetpack, because you don't need the stealth boy mod for the chest piece. You just get a chest piece arm or leg or something. Also, thank you so much for not giving me bird bones, whoever designed this pre-made character. I appreciate it when I'm getting shot in the butt cheeks by someone in a workshop. Also, yeah, you can see how quickly you get deleted when you get VATS'd, and that's, I think, the main reason they got rid of it to begin with. For those of you that do PvP, it's I'm not gonna say it's shit, because I did have fun back in the day, tag and VATS era, jumping up and down. 'Cause, I mean, at least you had to have some skill initially to tag them into VATS. It wasn't just a spray and pray with legacies, but there's issues no matter what way you look at it. It's just a very unbalanced system. But I want to talk, like, I just want to say, you know, to summarize my experience, basically, I'm extremely excited for the new effects. I think that some of them definitely could be buffed. I think Juggernauts should be buffed, and I think Gormons should be buffed. That sounds like it could be really fun. I don't see why it needs to be only 25%. There is the crouching problem that I was talking about earlier. Anyway, but I also think that we should bitch the hardest about the fact that we continue to have all these stupid RNG blockades between us creating an actual well-designed and complete build. If I need to just pray to the Lord Jesus Christ that I get the 3 rolls that I need on my weapon or my armor piece, then where does that leave the atheists who play this game and are just hoping for a break? And I think that if we could craft, you know, the individual slots on our pieces individually and then lock them in once we enjoyed it, that actually creates a end to your grind. You can actually have a goal. You don't have to just blindly play the lottery, hope against hope that eventually the gambler's fallacy will come into play, where you think that the more times you roll it, it'll increase your odds, when it won't. You still will have a 0.0009% chance. It's actually a lot higher now that they added all these new things that you can get. The more new stuff they add to the game, the worse the RNG is going to get for what you want to specifically roll. So they need to implement, and I mean need to implement, a way to guarantee a certain roll on a certain weapon. This will reduce the value of items from being dupe-worthy and sellable for cash. But I'm Mr. Church. This is just my first iteration. I'll be back once they've done more updates. But I hope you guys enjoyed learning some of the new shit shows, and I will see you in the next video. Ouch. Ouch. They bit my butt cheeks. Ouch.